most people are like, oh, you got to work harder. Like, it's all work ethic. But if two people are working 12 hours a day and then another person has 3 times better ideas, that person is going to do like 20x better over the course of a year. And so your level, your quality of input, your quality of expression, your quality of thoughts and ideas, where does that come from? It comes from a few different places. One, it comes from your ability to be aligned to your source. And traditionally, this gets told as like a spiritual thing, an enlightenment work thing, but it's accessible to anyone. If you were to sit here and I were to ask you, where do your thoughts come from? What would you say? Notice your next thought that comes up. When you ask that question, it's like no thoughts come up, right? It's like, wait, what? Isn't it interesting how thoughts, ideas, sort of just spawn in, comes up, and then they go away? Who are you in that equation? You're the witness, right? You are the thing that is seeing the thoughts come up and go away, and you're sort of deciding. Like, if I asked you, what is 5 times 5? In your brain, especially if you're Indian, you naturally like 25. It's 25. It's like super quick. Like, I didn't even finish the sentence. You just already knew. That's that brown intuition. Like, that answer like comes up, right? And like most of us say, like, I came up with that thought. But it's like, did you really? Like, what evidence do you have that you came up with it? Like, if anything, all that you really know is that 25 popped up. And that's the answer, right? And you're like, 25. But the only point I'm trying to make here is that thoughts are just spawning in randomly in your conscious field. And there's like a lot of like filtering going on. Like, it's still like your life experience. You studied math when you were younger, and so that 25 is a result of the work that you put in your entire life. But this is sort of where thoughts spawn in from. This is the start of all of your creative expression, whether you're writing, you're speaking, whether even you're working on a construction field. Like, this isn't just for thought work. This is like if you're doing physical labor, even your idea of like how you're carrying something and how you're placing it somewhere else. If you're an electrical engineer, like everything that goes into it, it starts from here. This idea spawning in your conscious field, right? And so the question that we're trying to answer is, how do we improve the quality of what's coming up naturally? And there's a few different ways. I mean, one really cool one that I've noticed is the more that I've meditated, the more that I've sort of trained my consciousness, my attention to be sharper and can concentrate on a single point for a longer period of time. And also, the more I've trained it to not have any grasp of control, the higher quality thoughts that I'm able to come up. And it's more like most people have a lot of fog on their consciousness. Most people have all this fog of, the desires, the hunger, the cravings. If you, wake up and you're used to eating breakfast every day, and then you have that feeling of like hunger and that feeling of craving for whatever you eat for breakfast, it's a lot harder to get close to those original ideas, or to get like a clear faucet of thoughts coming up, right? Because in your direct experience, in your consciousness, you're just thinking about the food that you're going to eat, right? And if thoughts are just like coming in, they're just spawning in this conscious field, but instead of being able to allow that to happen, all you have are thoughts about like breakfast and like your food and the cravings, then you're unable to allow those thoughts to naturally come in as much. And so from what we're talking about, getting these higher quality ideas in order to input into your day, it's just not going to work as well. You're not going to be able to see the literal volume of your ideas because you have all this fog in the way. And meditation is the tool in order to refine your skill of just allowing these cravings and hunger and all these things to not fog you up as much. You don't feel as much of the craving and desire. Like, that's what I've noticed. And I've done longer fasts. Like, I fasted for 5 days before with no food, just water. And, you know, you get to this point with fasting where hunger and cravings just doesn't really occupy your attention that much. You get super used to it. And yet most people can't even go a meal without it literally taking over their whole body. And so when you practice meditation, when you sit there and you focus on your breath for 10, 20 minutes a day, you're training yourself like the gym for your mind to be able to concentrate on one point and to not get as distracted, not get as fogged up with random things coming up in your conscious field. It gives you more control. And so during the day, when you're going through all of your creative tasks or your work or whatever you're doing, you have a more cleaner access to that deeper source of where your thoughts are naturally spawning in from, instead of having all these cravings and thoughts and like random fears about the future. That's another thing, is most people are just anxious and worried. They're thinking about the past. They're thinking about, you know, what that person thought about them last week. They're thinking about what their friends think about them. They're thinking about the fact that AI is going to take their job, and they're so worried about the future. It's like all of these are also fogging up the moment and not allowing your natural expression to come up. That's why meditation is powerful for this sort of thing. It's also breath work and yoga are very good for this too. But the other part of this is the identity component. Because yes, your thoughts are naturally coming in from this conscious field. They're like spawning in. And you could say that with that first thing that we're doing with meditation, breath work, and yoga, we're like clearing up that space so you get like that more natural expression. But identity is a whole other filtering device for how those thoughts can naturally come in. Like for me, if I was no hate to this type of person at all, but if I was a janitor and that was my job and I spent 12 hours a day cleaning up and I earned $50,000 a year at what I was doing, and I went home and I had kids, I had a wife, and that was my routine. I maybe was able to afford a vacation once a year, and that was my entire life. Like, during this process of these creative ideas coming up or whatever's coming up, like I'm not going to even like have the ideas for solving problems, because the way that I see myself is I'm this janitor. I'm just thinking about my kids. I'm thinking about my meals. I'm thinking about that vacation. Like, why would I even have thoughts come up for that, right? Because there's this filtering device. You only can have thoughts come up of whatever you see yourself as. Like for whatever you're doing in your life, if you're a student, your thoughts that naturally come up during the day are to solve the problems of your day. It's to solve the problems of the test you have or the thing you're studying for, yada, yada, yada. This janitor is only thinking about, okay, I need to clean up like this area and then this area, and then I can go home and like hang out with my wife, and like I have these friends in school, and like I know these couple students, like they're funny. Like that's the janitor's worldview. That's my worldview, let's say in this example. And so that's just going to filter in all the thoughts that are coming in. But let's say that janitor was like, all right, I want to have higher level of thinking. I want to think different thoughts. I'm going to start a business. And so every day that janitor starts watching YouTube videos of entrepreneurs. He starts watching Steve Jobs, Elon Musk. He starts using affirmations and visualization. He starts telling himself, like, I am an entrepreneur. I am someone who builds businesses. I am this thing, like these identity statements as affirmations. And then he starts visualizing. And I know this sounds kind of crazy, like why would this janitor do this? But he totally could. Like, why not, right? If he watched my YouTube videos and he just like got this information about these habits, he could just start doing this. And imagine he started visualizing and he sat there with his eyes closed and he was like, all right. And he saw himself like building businesses. Like he saw Steve Jobs and Elon, like the way they see the world. And he starts visualizing them himself in that same position. And then he goes throughout his day. What are his thoughts randomly coming up as now? Now when he sees a school, when he sees that, you know, like there's like the mop thing that he uses as a janitor, he sees now, he's like, wow, like I remember Steve Jobs saying that like product is the most important thing. And like I heard his story about how he just like came up with this new processor with Steve Wozniak. And like that's how Apple started. He starts looking at the mop and he's like, yo, like what if what if there was just a button on that? And that button has like a little like water tank with the mop. And you don't have to do this whole big ass thing, but instead you click that button and it squirts out like the soap for the mop. What if that's just so much better than what I'm doing right now? And then he's like, oh, yeah, that's a great idea. And now this janitor is like, oh, let me like take that to someone. He goes home and then he like starts taking more actions. It starts producing more of the momentum for him to actually turn this into a thing. And maybe he goes on and he finds some AI tools and he creates like a mock-up of the image. And then he takes that image and then he goes over to some people that he knows in the school in the engineering department. He's like, yo, like, could we do this? And they're like, yeah, I think we could. Let's like make something happen here. And then blah, 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 blah. This dude's a billionaire, mop king of the world, mop kingpin of the world, selling mops at the highest level that you could ever imagine. Every school in the world has this janitor's mops. He made it. He's a billionaire. No, but you get my point, right? It's like for him to naturally have those thoughts about the mop becoming this product or service, it followed him sort of allowing his identity to shift to be able to think at that level through, you know, some of the interviews, through the affirmations, through the visualization, maybe reading some books. Like, you're able to change the filter device of what ideas come up for you. And so if you're not doing this, then you're just literally not taking full advantage of your brain in this present moment. If you have levels of insecurity, if you have some future goal of yourself, but you're operating at a lower level than what that version of you can be at, then you're just not utilizing your highest quality level of thoughts. Doing identity work is extremely important for this reason. And then doing meditation allows you to clear out the fog so you can more easily access these ideas. And this is becoming extremely important in the age of AI, because with AI, you can create any app you want, any image you want, any video. His video is a little sus still, but like it's getting better. You can create all these things. And so when you can create anything, having the highest quality ideas is the most important part of this process. And so refining this mechanism inside of you to produce the highest level of creativity, thought, expression into the world is extremely important. And the last thing I'll give you is how to use AI to do this. Because this is something I've done, because these first two steps of like meditation and visualization, affirmations, I've been doing this for years, right? And I've gotten pretty used to them, upgrading my identity that way. And I naturally found that AI is helping me do the same thing. And like the way I did it, like just last night, I was recording on camera just like this. And I noticed that while I was recording, I was just really calm. I was just like laid back in my chair and I was like talking to the camera like this. And I realized that I was speaking and talking in a much more intelligent way than I normally do. I was sharing stories of my current life, like what's actually happening in my life. And it felt much closer to when I was talking to a friend in real life, if I was giving advice to a friend. And that was such a paradigm shift for me. I was like, yo, like I'm usually so anxious on camera. I didn't even realize, like even right now in this moment as I'm speaking to you, like right now, I'm feeling this as well, where I'm just so much more calm and collected, and I'm able to give actual real value to people. I'm able to cook on camera, which is what I can do in real life. And I've always been confused, and I've had some friends tell me like, you sound so different on the videos than you do in real life. Like, why is that? And it didn't really dawn to me until now, because last night I felt that really calm vibe. And so that's the new behavior that I wanted more of in my life, is that calm behavior, right? And so if I wanted to do more of that, like right now I'm on camera and I'm practicing it again, right? So if I wanted to do more of the calm after I realized like, whoa, this is going to be really good for making videos, then there's a few steps you can do, right? You could just keep recording videos. Like right now, this is another rep at practicing it. So now in my nervous system and everything, hopefully I'm getting more used to being calm, and that's like actually leveling me up. That's creating the behavior change, right? But what I did instinctually last night is that the camera died, And I was like, fuck, like this is so good. Like, why did this just stop my flow? And I was recording the audio on my laptop like I am right now. And what I did was I took the audio and I transcribed it. I put it into Premiere and I got the text out, like 20 minutes of like raw text. I took that text, I went over to AI and I put it into AI and I asked it, I uploaded the transcript and I was like, yo, like, talking calmly on camera is such a game changer for me. Like, this is going to like change my channel. I think this is a really cool insight. I sort of told AI my raw commentary my raw commentary on why I thought this was important. Like, I was sort of happy for myself and, you know, explaining the metacognition, the level of like how this is useful for my life and this specific behavior. And so when I put that into AI and I clicked enter, AI went and analyzed the whole transcript. It found the patterns. It found the points where I thought I was being more authentic, because that's basically what I was prompting it, right? It's like, oh, yo, I'm so much more relaxed and authentic. And it gave me a response back that, yes, it confirmed what I was saying, which a lot of people are like AI just like is like confident and it just doesn't give you anything valuable. It's just like telling you what you want to hear. Like, yeah, that's exactly what it did because I prompted it to do that. But there's value in the fact that it did that. It mirrored back this response, which celebrated this moment of me being calm on camera, and then it found more reasons as to why this is like so useful to me. And it like quoted the transcription. It was like, yeah, like when you shared this story about an actual thing you're experiencing, like this dude you met at a rooftop that was really cool, like that's what you would share in real life to your friend, is this real story of what's happening here. And then it was saying like, yes, like being calm is good. And it would say like positive statements too, like, Sonny, like this is huge. Like this is going to be a major unlock for you. And the experience of me reading that back, the experience of me feeling that positive validation from the tool is so useful for upgrading identity. It's so useful for upgrading this behavior. Like right now, I feel like I was more likely to just turn on this camera and practice feeling calm on camera because AI like really dug into that and allowed me to sort of celebrate that experience of positive reinforcement towards the behavior that I wanted in my life. It's an extremely powerful tool for this. And I feel like it's hard for most people to get into that. Like affirmations and visualization, like, all right, I could like convince someone to do that. Like go try that in the next 10 minutes. But the way that I prompt AI to be able to create these positive reinforcements for the behaviors that I want to do, like even saying that out loud is crazy, right? It's like most people are like using AI to write emails, and like here I am like using it to reinforce my identity and do this sort of things. That's why I created my app, Sahaj. Like it's literally meant to just simplify this process so you can just easily sort of talk to it for just a bit every day. It'll learn more about you, and then it'll like use this identity reinforcement technology, like these sort of the ways that I use it in order to almost do the same thing that affirmations and visualization do for you and help you reach your goals through like the deeper layers, through actually upgrading your identity. It's like a journal. It's like a live journal that learns about you and then like helps you with your stuff, a growth companion. But I am a genius. Think of yourself as the highest level of yourself that you can. If you're not, then you're leaving creativity, joy, and you're leaving your best work, the best gifts that you can give humanity on the table. Upgrade your identity. Act as your highest level. And you'll get everything that you want, or at least you'll start being on the path towards getting the things that you want. And the best part of this is that if you really do this stuff, then you'll feel happy and fulfilled in the moment of pursuing your dreams. You won't need the end point in order to reach your max level of happiness and satisfaction, because there's a deeper truth that you'll find in this. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you got value from this. If you did, check out the channel, check out the app, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.